everybody, Vince Dowd, the founder of hijackedmind.com and Serene Investor. And I wanted to share with you tonight, this is Christmas Day. So first of all, Merry Christmas. I'm sure you're watching this after. But I wanted to kind of dive in here really quickly and share a couple things with you. Again, my goal on this channel, when I started it, was specifically Hijacked Mind is about the way that our thoughts, the way that our mind gets hijacked by the outside influences, whether it be social media, whether it be television, the church, whatever, and to take that power back. And then I started getting into the cryptocurrencies because they're kind of like the hot item right now. And of course, Hijacked Mind's about mind, body, spirit relationships and abundance or money. And my belief is this: when you understand who you are, that the wealth you are seeking is not outside of you, it is you, then you will start to understand who you are and act accordingly. And when you do, all things will work out for you. So cryptocurrencies I want to share because part of this is really a powerful area of decentralization of power. I'm a big believer that we are being hoodwinked by politicians who line their pockets with our money, with our time, and with our effort. And so many people are lulled to sleep by watching their televisions and getting caught up in the BS of bankers and politicians. And I think that these institutions need to disappear through the decentralization of power, giving the power back to the people. That's what I'm about. And if you don't like it, that's okay. But this is the channel that I believe that to be the case. We are sovereign individuals with the right to govern ourselves. The only time we need governance is when we have ignorant people that cannot understand conscious movements throughout life. So my hope is to not only continue to wake up myself, but to help others wake up as well. The only way we're going to have true power, happiness, and bliss is to really come back to our own power. So I wanted to touch base on the cryptos today, and I'm going to hit you with some information about Digibyte. Now, I had talked about this in a former video, which is getting decent viewings, but I had a few people upset at me because I questioned the founder, Jared Tate. So Digibyte, and the reason I did that is very simple. Listen, I got involved in the cryptocurrencies in 2013. I bought Bitcoin. I'm not a genius. I'm not a cryptographer. I'm not a math whiz. I did it as a trader to diversify and hedge against the global economic fiscal irresponsibility of governments, politicians, and bankers. And then it took off. But I began studying really heavily here this year, and I'm not any expert. I'm just studying. So I am a trader. I have 22 years of trading, studying the financial markets. I don't own a TV, and all I do is research. Plus, I've trained over 350,000 people around the world. So you decide whether or not that gives me any perspective. But if you resonate, stick around, like my channel, subscribe. If you don't, that's cool too. But if I say something here on the channel that does offend you, keep in mind my goal is never to offend you. My goal is to wake you up. So if I cause you to be reactive and you get mad at me, remember, don't get rid of the button pusher, because the button pusher wakes you up to the other button. I always tell people, if I can offend you, the offense is in you, and you need to work on yourself. Just like me, when I get offended by people, I realize I have not worked on that area. True power is when nobody outside of me can offend me by the words they use or what they say, because I know who I am. Anyway, enough on my soapbox. So here's Digibyte. This is based on Bitcoin to Satoshis. But let's just look at DGB to the US dollar. So I had mentioned in my last video, if you look at, it's on my channel here, over here I said, listen, Digibyte looks like it's a good trade. It's forming a great pattern. And then I looked at Jared Tate, and I was not impressed with his speaking or his slick look. And so some people got really mad at me for that and said he's a genius. So, the more I've researched him, I don't see that he's a genius. I mean, there's nothing that shows that. He started a company, and it sounds like he might have some good stuff. Now, the reason it took off and went from here beyond the pattern, which is good, is because John McAfee highlighted it in his little Twitter feed. By the way, John McAfee, who is the legend behind the McAfee antivirus, has 458,000 subscribers. When he talks about a certain coin, it's gonna run. Look at human IQ. Look at Digibyte. And by the way, we can go back here to Digibyte on the 23rd, and he talks about it right here. Coin of the day, Digibyte. So the 23rd, what happened on the 23rd? Well, let's look at it. 23rd right here. We had a big move, and then it went up, okay? So Digibyte now has broken out of this high resistance level. If I look at the weekly chart, potentially what we've done, and as a trader, this is a very good pattern. We ran up, we consolidated in a consolidation energy coil, and then it broke out, hit a new high, and now it's hanging out up here. If it stays in this level, it's called jumping the river, testing the ice. Potentially, this could go much higher. Where will it go? Well, I'll tell you how I'd measure this. I do pretty simple technical analysis. I would measure from the bottom to the top, and that would be my measurement. Then I would move that. Actually, that didn't work very well. That's trading view for you. Let me go over here and get a price range. If I just take it from the bottom to the top, we have that move that just occurred from the bottom to the top of 847%. So I would do the exact same thing from where it is right now, having that breakout. I would look for an 847% move in some time frame, which would be right around, let's call it right there anyway. So right here in the next 3-4 months, I think it could easily hit 77 cents. This is a pattern. The longer it bases, the higher it races, and I think it could hit there. So I'm doing this technically. Do I still think it's a great company? Well, I don't know. I mean, the more I research it, I still don't find a ton about it, but John McAfee, who is much smarter than I am, thinks it's great because they have 40 times faster than Bitcoin. It also has 2 other levels, these algorithms and so forth. So listen, the guy's smarter than me. If he thinks it's great, I'll trade the coin, okay? And the thing is, I'm always looking at risk mitigation, risk management. So if you can get in this thing and ride it up and pull some principal out and you're in with their money, that's the best way to play it, okay? So that's Digibyte, and that's the weekly chart. If we bring it down to the daily chart, potentially this thing could really move. It might take a couple months. It might happen in a week. I don't know. But it's based a long time. The breakout is pretty good because it's broken out. It's hanging out. There's not a lot of risk here because it's a 6-cent stock. I know some people that are buying this and maybe they're buying, $10,000 worth. Well, keep in mind, if you put up $10,000, you could lose $10,000. And if you're willing to do that, then go for it. For me, I diversify my risk among many coins, and I know some will go out of business, some will probably be scams, and I'm trying to do my research the best I can, but some of them will take off. And so that is that with Digibyte. But John McAfee will be talking about different coins. Here's one red coin he talked about the other day. Look what that's done. It took off. So he talked about red coin. It was basing the same pattern, and it broke up. This red moving average is called the 50-period moving average. This dark purple is the 9 period, and this light pink is the 200 period. When the 50 crosses up through the 200, that's called the golden cross. That's a very powerful buy signal. So that happened right here. This was a great buy zone here around 0.003 cents. Now it's up to 0.01 cents. Could still be a great buy. There's not a lot of risk here. You could buy, $200 worth and hold it for a couple of years, see what happens. But to me, these are all speculative. I would highly not recommend anybody invest money you can lose. And always check with your advisors. I'm not here to advise or recommend. I am not a broker or a financial advisor. I am simply a trader who teaches strategy, risk management mitigation, and psychological analysis of positions looking at a macro chart type basis. All right, so hopefully that helps you guys out. If you like the videos, please subscribe, share them, comment. I'd be more than happy. And you don't even have to have great comments. You can be mad at me like some of the other people, and that's okay too, because listen, I love the people that will share anything. And to be honest, I'm open, and I learn from people as well. So if I'm off base, I love to learn, and I'm humble enough to learn and continue to learn. So obviously, Digibyte looks like it might be a better coin than I anticipated. McAfee likes it, and he's much smarter than I am. So it is a privacy coin, apparently, and I am still studying. There's over 2,000 coins. I can't study them all, but I am looking at the technicals to see the ones that will move pretty big for a buy. And McAfee has more power than I do to move these positions. In fact, just so you know, any type of YouTube personality can move the positions. Let me just share a quick story with you. It's called pump and dump. And when I was trading the market in my early years, I got sucked in. Somebody was telling me about stocks and how they would move 200-300% in a couple days. And he called me to get me to invest in his fund. And then before I invested, he'd show me a stock like this one. And this is a coin, I get it. But he'd say, look, watch it. It'll go up 200-300%. And within a matter of days, it did this. He did this multiple times. So I put about $40,000 with him. Come to find out, what he was doing is buying it on the cheap and then putting out faxes, emails, and newsletters to people to buy it after he accumulated all the shares at the bottom. When it went up, he sold them and profited big and took off with about 5 million of our money. And that is called the pump and dump. It's illegal, but I'll tell you right now, people are doing it on YouTube. There's no regulations here. And people with just 90,000 people on their YouTube channels that are nobody really in the financial markets can do this because these markets are very illiquid. And all it takes is a bunch of people buying in after they've already bought in, and then they're going to sell their way out. So guys, you've got to be cautious. If you're doing it, make sure you know what you're doing it for. Make sure you're looking for long-term coins. And hey, if you profit short-term, that's fantastic. But if you're doing it for the short term, it's a little bit challenging. I'm not saying you can't make money at it, but you just better be cautious, because if you're left holding the bag, you could lose a lot of money. And some people are telling you to buy a lot of money's worth. I would never tell you to do that. You need to make sure that you're checking with your advisors and never invest more than you're willing to lose all of it. And that means all 100% gone. And it will happen to a lot of people. So I just encourage you to keep learning, keep educating yourself. Focus on your exits first. Don't think about the money. The money comes when you take care of yourself. Know who you are, know your exits, know the worst case scenario. And when you think that way, it gets much easier. So I hope you liked the video. Please go ahead and subscribe, share it, like it, leave your comments. And again, thanks for stopping by. This is Hijacked Mind.